Yo, what's up, guys? Seiishizo over here, and this is going to be the big announcement that C, aka Chris, has been talking about. He mentioned that he was talking to Jack earlier this week, and let's see what they were discussing about, which is pretty much the future of the next coming months of Etheria Restart. I can definitely say that this game can use a little bit of a W right now for like a W patch, Rengoku to nerf, making people happy with like balance changes, anything like that. Let's see what we do actually get on all of those kind of matters. And let's see if this goes in the right way or kind of in the wrong way. So we know it's been a while since we heard directly from us. That's kind of true. Like the last time is actually more or less from whatever talk I did with Vulcan and Jack back in Shanghai. So let's see about that. Thank you for sticking with us. Yep, we're all here to believe, blah, blah, blah. Transparent look at what's coming soon. Okay. There's a lot of yapping between all of this, so we're just gonna zoom in into the pinpoints, I guess. We're committing more active dialogue within the community. Okay, today's post is our first, so there's more to come. That's always a good thing. But it's important for the opportunities to arise. We'll be empowering the community discussion specific topics we need your feedback on. For example, later in this post discussing the RTA meta will be asked your thoughts, contribution. Okay, so they're actually saying like they want feedback. That's always a good thing. Like, nothing wrong with that. In the end, they could always just simply not do anything with that. Basically, we had nerf revelation due to many communities complaints. Hey, I already mentioned that part before. Like I also did mention it in the talk with Jack itself. Like the moment that you say that you're only gonna do balancing throughout from season to season, it means people get like 2 to 3 months every time to heavily invest in one thing that it's then gonna get cut after. So people are now going to be heavy invested in Bloodbath, then Bloodbath is gonna get nerfed. Then the next thing is OP, people heavy invest in that. And every time that you nerf something that people heavy invested in because you let it be too OP for too long, people are going to simply quit. I mentioned that at the Revelation as well. Like the moment that you make Revelation too OP, they notice like a few weeks into the game, it's like, yo, Revelation is actually way too strong. You should have been slightly addressing it at that point, like maybe 5% down, another 5% down. Now when you go immediately like, yo, 30% down, that's where people's like, yo, I built my whole account around that. That's kind of iffy. And if you're going to repeat the same issue with Bloodbath and those kind of things, you're definitely walking into issues. And I've seen other games like pretty much topple over and like reach where there's pretty much no active player base, or there's just very few people still taking a lot of care, because that is the main thing. Like, yeah, like the meta right now is just simply not fun. That's the main thing. Well, the matches get too long. So, well, we're hearing your voice in constructive detail is very important for those topics. Okay. That is definitely a thing between the top players and the casual players. It can definitely greatly for what the real way of playing RTA will be and that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's see what they do on that. So they definitely do want to have more dialogue about that rather than just hearing from 1 or 2 content creators or whatever they say. So definitely about the bigger player base. But then also the big question for me would be, are they going to put out forms? Are they going to do like the RuneScape thing that you can actually vote on things, whether they're going to be implemented or not, which I think RuneScape is doing one of the best jobs of the devs I've been listening, because legitimately the player base is voting on stuff. Will be cool to see in other games as well. But yeah, let's continue. Time sinks situation process. We're hearing the end game grind can feel like a chore sometimes. Yeah, I guess it's just a grindy game, like whether you like it or not. I think that's just the real thing that they want to do with it, but let's see. Especially when there's many task events open to complete every day. Yeah. It's funny enough that some people, or actually one person really hard called me out on one side for there's nothing to do in the game, and on the other side, I treat this game like a job and I do way too much in the game. You definitely have both sides of the coin in this game, and that's also what you see over here. It's always difficult to create a game that is chill for the casual players, but also the die-hard players, the whales, can actually have fun as well. So yeah, that's definitely a thing out there. But our team is trying to figure out the best solution, especially for the long-term players. This is going to be, in my opinion, one of the hardest thing out there, but sure. We're exploring preserve health of the early game in Oddwing, similar less time-intensive farming for late game. Yep. Like that's the thing. If everything is done with one push of the button and people want auto clears and that kind of stuff, you're just not going to be active enough with the game to actually care about the game. At some point, you just quit because of that. So there's always things like that. If you guys have any ideas to consider what you keep in mind, feel free to submit the feedback. Okay, I'm definitely curious to see what people come up with that, because best example I can give right now is, for example, an MMORPG. And creating a good MMORPG is near impossible at the moment, because the most like people that play MMORPGs are people from my age. And those people either have like families and jobs right now, or they're freaking degenerate and they play like 24 freaking 7. So the people with like families and jobs, like nothing against the degenerate people, by the way, I'm one of those. Let me just like explain that in the first place. But the thing is that if you want to put like 140 hours into the game in the first week, you're going to be complaining. It's like, yo, there's nothing to do. And for the people that just play like half an hour to an hour a day, because they have like life going on, yeah, how to make a game catering to both. And I think that gacha gaming is kind of running towards the same style, because of some games just giving like everything out super easy for free, and you just play when there's a content update. Whereas games such as the grindy games, Summoners War, Epic 7, I think Raid Shadow Legends, well, never really played that one. But now also Etheria Restart are more on like the grindy track. So that's, yeah, it's difficult to see. We know many of you have been sharing feedbacks towards Ember Track, the game mode repeating on content. Yep, I would definitely say that the Ember Track, like remove the walking part. No one cares about that. Still keeping like the whatever. Where you walk around. Yep, our current situation is implemented. Next reset will be auto clear if the previous is completed. Okay. You would have to fight the last boss manual for the hard difficulty. Still remind. Okay, I would just say remove all of the walking things. Like keep in the boss fights. You can auto those if you have good gear and good stuff. Like that's definitely not an issue. The manual things that you have to do, that's kind of the annoying things. Like not necessarily just say it's like, oh, just skip all the way to floor 42 or something like that. No, for me it's totally fine if I can auto a bunch of shit on the side. Like it's not that big of a deal. But the big issue for me personally is just where it takes a long time to do the whole walking around, opening all of the chests, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Any-sync echoes plus junior boss will be 5 times on speed. The same as the infinite train was also spoken about in Shanghai, when they kind of just want to make it less annoying. We actually mentioned that for union boss specific. How about you just minimize that? It just runs it on the background. Apparently that was more difficult for them to do, but the 5x, it was an easier implementation that they could do. So, well, it helps out for not having to look at that thing for like 3 hours. Would still be nice the moment you hit the triple S, you can just like press like claim the reward and just get your ass out of there. I don't know. A healthier approach for monetization. We're working on more rewarding player-friendly monetization options. Okay. Is it going to be more whaling friendly, or is it going to be more free-to-play friendly? Because monetization options are never the free-to-play friendly ones, I guess. But interesting. Enhance your enjoyment of the game. To be honest, make good skins. Like, don't make weird-ass recolors as a skin. Like, to be honest, if you make it like a proper skin as a skin, beach skins, it's summer, that kind of shit, it sells, man. It sells. Recolors of it, it's just kind of weird. But feature focus, utility choices, okay. Feel free to offering cheap daily stamina packs. They shouldn't be doing this. I don't think that they will do this, because right now your game is super free to play friendly by not having like these kind of cheap stamina daily packs. I think that is, they're probably going to implement that, otherwise they wouldn't have mentioned it over there. But that is kind of where you draw the line. It's like, okay, now pay to win has a bigger advantage over free to play because they get more resource in. Before it was like, if you just do all of your stuff like the gems, if you didn't waste your gems on summons, you could always keep up with the amount of farming that the whales also were doing. So whales only had like the extra value in lattices and more summons. If you start doing this as well, you're just giving them the upper hand of that kind of stuff. Sure, cheap is cheap, but then again, like it's one extra thing to pay. Like in the end, the best thing you can do is actually make good skins, but then again, that takes more effort on their side as well. We would like more skins. They're already working on that. Okay, fair. RTA meta real-time considerations. Yep, has been a hot topic. Makes sense. We're collaborating to RTA top directly and a wider community. I have seen like a few places where the top people that play in like tournaments were asked to actually give feedback and that kind of stuff. Yes. Mid-season balance patch is under heavy consideration. So that's not saying that they're gonna do it. Fuck the heavy consideration. Just do that shit. Because same thing as I mentioned before, the longer you let something be OP, the more invested people are going to be in the OP thing, and then you're gonna like hard gut the OP thing, and then people are gonna be unhappy. Simple fact. Although we have stated previously that we won't make any adjustments between the seasons, in the end, that is a rule that you put up on yourself for nerfing Shadow Sanya and, well, pretty much Shadow Sanya and Siada. And the community was like, yo, why you're randomly nerfing shit? And it's like, oh, we stopped doing nerfs between seasons. It's like, we never asked for that. You had like weird ass PvE nerfs. And you made your own rule based on that, which is now kind of backfiring, I would say. We already show Lilium as an open to adjustment. That is actually fairly true. Lilium was actually on like a hotfix balance patch thingy. That's actually kind of nice. Back to the general topic, we're receiving a lot of feedback from our community to avoid waiting 2 months. Yes. Giving towards, so please let you know your thoughts. As I mentioned before, like the longer you let something be OP, the more issue it's going to be the moment that people have to switch all of their stuff. Let's say you do like 3, 2x is like full bulwark right now, and then bulwark is going to get hard gutted, like that kind of stuff. Also, I would say if you do shorter nerfs, you can go for shorter like iterations of like, let's say Revelation nerf 5%, okay, another 5%, another 5%. Whereas if you wait 2 months, then you go throwing numbers at it like 30% and it's near impossible to play. So yeah, that's definitely the thing in there. Due to many complaints are feeling demotivated for players. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if someone is hard invested into something, you're gonna get demotivated because of that. So especially in the lower ranks, very understandable as well, because people in the lower ranks feel like what is OP at a later moment than the high ranks. Just like it always goes down, meta always goes from the top to the bottom in like rankings. It's very simple. But people figure out like, yo, I should be bold at Revelation. Week later, Revelation cut. So yeah, that kind of stuff. I thought those changes heavily requested from the community. It came unexpected to allow Bruiser to be meta dominant. Unfortunately, sometimes during testing, we may not be able to predict exactly how the meta. Very true. Given as a sign, maybe add in playtesters, but that's always a difficult thing that most games don't like to do. But sure, many would argue that the current meta is less engaging than the previous. I would say so. Matches are taking like 10 minutes. We're going back to what we had in the Fusion Cup back in January in Beta 2. And we had like 22-minute matches like on stage, and the casters were like, I have no clue what's going on, but please start killing one another. Given that we encourage you to give the feedback post, well, my way of giving feedback is my video, so I hope they do watch that. I guess they do. Let me know in the comment section if you agree with me or not agree, because that's totally allowed as well. I'm definitely not saying like, yo, whatever I say is the right way. Totally fair for some people to disagree with my takes as well. Not having any issues with that whatsoever. We'd like to preach both high-level players and casuals. Very well done, because if you just make like a good game for the high-level players, you won't have any casuals for us high-level players to beat, or them high-level players. Wouldn't even consider myself a high-level player at the moment, I guess. I don't know. Let us know what you feel the experience. Yep. Would it be something like nerfing Bloodbath slightly, only PvP? I would definitely say so. Buffing unused DPS shells? Yes, most DPS shells are kind of ass, to be honest. Because I would say have more shells with DPS that have bulwark in there, so at least they have like a fair bit of protection, something in there, or I don't know. Long-term PvP feels more dynamic at every level. Yep, if you want to make it more rewarding at every level, make it where just doing like how many wins do you have to do right now? Like 10 wins a week. And then besides that, you don't have to do any more RTA. I feel like that there still should be like maybe the first 10 gives you a good reward. And then after that gives you a smaller reward. So there's still a reason for people to play RTA, because right now people would just play the 10 and be like, whatever. Of course, you want to be also catering towards the people that don't want to play RTA all freaking day. So yeah, in that case, just lower the rewards by a fair bit, but still give out something that you're not just like playing for no reason. We're able to gap is quite steep between the average player that want to compete in RTA with the upcoming so many changes. General focus, okay, helping at competitive levels, sure. We know that our casual players tend to not have enough time to grind completely in the early game, especially when the content is being quite challenging. Yes, we're hoping that the upcoming changes can help accelerate this to a healthy level. Okay, well, definitely I would say make it more rewarding in the sense of actually giving more rewards. Like now you have like 2K. Let's say you give out 4K in that shop, and the first 2K you just get fairly easily, and the other 2K, it just takes a very long time to get there, so people can decide like, yo, do I want to actually go for that effort, or do I not want to go for that effort? Okay, we'll make big changes on how to build your equipment. Okay, the model shop is being overhauled. Yep, it's very ass. In addition, for the random way to obtain models in the model shop in the future, players can buy modules confirming the main stats and even the sub attributes. That's kind of busted. Please don't tell me that it ends up in like a cash way that you can buy this kind of stuff, because that's why you make whales way too OP and people are not going to be happy about that. So please, because right now the model as in shop you can mainly get through buying with real money. If people with real money spending can immediately select whatever they want to have, you're definitely going to be making whaling very interesting, and that makes people that don't want to whale as much not that happy. So let's see. A new gear crafting system is wrapping up the development, giving the design of a greater control overview on your builds without relying on RNG alone. But then do you have to rely on the wallet? Like, that's the next question. I don't know. If it's not the case, I love it. If it's the case where you have to rely on your wallet, people are not going to like that much, but that's still making assumptions right now. I don't know what is or isn't. This system will be released for players as an event, okay, and a recurring event, okay. Well, in the end, we do know that events such as like the Dresser, like whatever it's called, still has like a shop in there, so let's see if that is going to be the case. We'll release more information in the upcoming changes soon, but here's a small preview for now. Okay, cool. So we can select whatever thing we want to have. Yes, crit damage. Yes, next step. Is this like kind of a re-rolling random attributes kind of thingy? Okay, I guess. And then you lock in one, so probably the re-roll is more expensive later. A lot of games kind of do that. So you have like 4 stats, 4 at random, and then you gotta like lock in one. It gets more expensive over there, and then you go for the next stat, something like that. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. You have to keep in mind with this that it's very important that not every stat has, or like not everything has every stat available. Like, for example, the ring doesn't have HP or crit damage in there. It just has like the speed, crit rate, and defense in there, for example. So kind of have to keep in mind what's there. Renkokatsu Inferno help is on the way. We know that Renkokatsu has been a wall for many of you. Yep, and we're addressing it directly. I skimmed through this a little bit, and that is not addressing it directly. Addressing it directly means we're nerfing that shit. That is addressing it directly. A new banner is coming up with features for the new characters that's specifically designed to crush Renkokatsu. That is like, we're addressing it, but you gotta spend like 80 summons first. It's like, I don't know, man. But yeah, sure. Addressing it directly would be like, we're tuning it down. We're not saying like we make a new unit to actually solve the problem, but sure, I guess. Would be a good PV unit throughout, so if you care mostly about PV, it might be a nice thing. They look kind of badass, not gonna lie. So new banner is coming up with specific designed unit to crush Renkokatsu and other challenges. Would be really curious to see like how you specifically crush Renkokatsu with a specific unit. It's just an insane amount of damage, so more protection, I don't know. Each test will be in various ways against Renkokatsu, and we found it to be much easier, sure. There will be multiple strategies and synergies for the kids, for example. Try them out with Lilium. Yeah, that's another whaling thing. They're really like emphasizing us to spend right now in this one. I don't know, but I must say they look pretty badass. Also, big question is, are those... Yeah, those are going to be SSRs, otherwise they're not banners. Like, if there are, or like if they're SR units, like, no, I would say it's like, yo, makes sense, cool. If you get like an SR unit to crush Renkokatsu, that's cool. But did they test these kind of characters with full lattices on an SSR? Do we have to spend full lattice on SSR units just for PV in Renkokatsu to crush them? Or did they test them without that? A lot of questions right there, to be honest. The release of these inputs will be wider strategic counters tools for PvE and PvP. Okay, I guess. Future events, we've seen the regards and we want to know that we're listening. Many players have been dissatisfied with the RNG. Yep. Dreamscape. Yep. Although there were many players who were able to receive incredible rewards. Yeah, if they were lucky. We understand that it's not the case for everyone. Exactly. Not every player likes to take risks. To be honest, going for the non-risky round gave you way better rewards than going for the risky round. And those who prefer to play safe and fix rewards and don't rely on RNG. I'm 100% sure everyone that always took like the yellow door always had like way better rewards in the end. We will make this include fixed reward for the players as options. That was pretty much already there, but sure. That's also still the big issue with this is not even the RNG behind it, but hard locking it behind like crystal buying or like, yeah, crystal buying more keys kind of stuff. So making it more whaling insensitive, but let's see. Global launch celebration. Our global launch has been around the corner and is going to be massive. That's what she said. Our game will be officially launched in many parts of the world. Stay tuned. Competitive playing against people from the region of China, Japan, South Korea, and more. It's going to be interesting, like how fast they will be actually added into the RTA pool, but let's see. I will make sure you guys will be pleased with new rewards as it is a celebration after all. Stay tuned for the exact dates. I pretty sure think it's somewhere next month. It's time to bring in new people and for returning players to jump back in. Curious to see if they're going to get some good rewards. What's next? This was a snapshot. What's in the motion behind the scene? Yeah, we'll continue as best. Okay. Most importantly is listen, continue sharing your feedback, and make sure constructive and organized. Well, that's definitely an important factor as well, because there's been a lot of like feedbacks like, it's shit, fix your game. It's like, okay, what to do? It's shit, fix your game. It's like, okay, but what would you like us to change? Well, I said it was shit. And how about you fix your game? It's like, yeah, that's not helping them. So definitely keep it like constructive and organized. That definitely helps them a fair bit. We'll probably digest everything. Direct shapes. Yep. Emphasize for all regions. Yep. They're making future tournaments. Not surprised about that. Everyone's voice matters. Stay tuned. Upcoming week mid-patch for more specific details about the things mentioned today. So this will be something on the patch, I would say, midweek next week. So we're looking at like 19th or 20th or 21st or something like that. So in the end, I would say pretty decent notice, but I am very scared for a lot of those things to be very whaling heavy. Like, that's the main thing. Like, well, first of all, that they mentioned that they do want to do more balancing on the spot. Yes, should be good. So you can actually draw like smaller numbers rather than big numbers and make people unhappy with that. But this module forge, I'm very scared that it's going to be behind a paywall. And also with these new units, I'm kind of, well, you do know where you get your summon. So that's kind of the thing. But do you have to put like lattices into just clearing Rengoku too? Because once again, addressing something directly, that's nerfing it. Like, to be honest, it's not that hard. Like, HP goes down by 20%. A lot easier. Like, how many times did you nearly kill Rengoku 2, but 20 HP left? Couldn't kill that shit. So, yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's an okay post. Definitely not the big hype that I was hoping for, as Chris would have mentioned, like how crazy big it is. I think in general, it is pretty good to know like what's coming and which route they're taking and that kind of stuff. But I was hoping a little bit more, and I'm once again a little bit scared for things might be a little bit more like a paywall kind of things, such as that they also mentioned, I don't even remember where it was, it's like, oh, that we add in like stability, like on daily charge kind of things, like even just a $1 per day still adds up to $30 over a month kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm really too happy about that, because right now free to play it's very free to play friendly. Like, whatever people want to say, like the game is actually super free to play friendly. You get more crystals that you can use for your daily refreshes. But the moment you have like options to pay those as well, that's kind of where it's like, yeah, this is where you kind of lose your free-to-play friendly edge on that. So not sure if that's maybe their route to make more money, because in the end, they're a company, they're a business, and business has got to make money somehow. Could be a thing. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. It is 4:39 a.m. over here. I got to go to sleep, and thanks a lot for watching for this one. And see you as always in the next one.